Hey, welcome to the conversation that's as diverse as the dogs that we adore. This is Gundogs and Guard Dogs, ultimate podcast dedicated to talking sense about dogs with Les Graham and Ross McCarthy. They work with all breeds of dog, but one specialises in gun dogs and the other prefers guard dogs. No flashy trends or social media hype here, just tried and true knowledge that stands the test of time. They bring you valuable insights and honest conversations about the social predator you share your home with. So here we go. About 45 minutes of gun dogs, guard dogs, good dogs, some maybe not so good dogs, and a dash of gossip.
I thought you were going to say hello, and you didn't. You waited for me to say hello.
I thought we'd take it in turns.
Oh, did you know?
Yes. That was a quick fortnight, wasn't it? Back again.
Back again. Back again. With what coffees?
Yeah, coffee.
Anyway, how are you doing?
I'm all right. Nearly made it through January, haven't we?
Yes.
You sure?
Yes. It was quite funny. I was in the Pet Gundogs Club the other week.
Pet Gundogs Club, just dropping that in, are you?
Yeah, just dropping that in. A couple of weeks ago, I did a thing, and it was the 17th of January, okay, when I did this call. And I recorded it, and when I was putting it on Vimeo, I was listening to part of it back. And I said, it's the 17th of April, and I didn't know it until after I'd just recorded. Oh my God, what planet was I on? 17th of April instead of the 17th of January. So, oh my God, talk about wishing for the summer to be here.
Oh, it's getting old, isn't it? It's age.
Thanks for that.
I had a really scary experience. I was on a workshop, and these two girls came in. They're both called Emma.
Uh-huh.
And then I looked at another girl who I knew. She's doing our fast track program, and I know her well. And I looked at her, and I thought, I think her name's Emma. And I could not remember. Her name's Kathryn. It really freaked me out. I couldn't think of it. I just thought, I don't know your name. Isn't that hideous?
I haven't all the time.
Well, that's what people have told me since. Older people told me. Happens all the time. But it really freaked. I just thought that's freaked me out.
It happens all the time. I just look at people and I go, I'm really sorry, I've got a mental block on your name. And then they tell me, they go, oh yeah, and I can tell them their dog and their shoe size. But yeah, no, it happens all the time. It's like, oh my God, who are you?
Oh my goodness. No, scary, that is. No, goodness.
Oh yeah. We go, what day is it today? What am I doing today? Who am I?
I know, yeah.
Who are you? What's your name?
Oh dear. Oh, the joys of it all. The joys of this aging.
You're still young.
My goodness. Yeah, well, anyway, it freaked me out, but I do feel better that everybody else has these momentary lapses.
Oh yeah, definitely.
God.
I called Emrys Angus the other day.
Oh, I do sometimes do that. It's quite difficult as well when you've got multiple dogs, isn't it? I'm quite often called the wrong one.
Oh yeah.
Wrong name, and yeah.
Especially when they all look similar at distance. It's like, who are you?
Yeah, well, they do, don't they? I know. Yeah, no, it's
Do you not need glasses yet?
No, I don't need glasses. I had an eye test. Sure? Yeah, why? I can see you all right. No, I had an eye test a couple of weeks ago, and he said, "Oh, it's perfect."
Really?
I mean, yeah. I mean, they're not.
You should at least need reading glasses at your age.
I was going to be rude then, but we're on the podcast, aren't we? So I won't. No, I don't need glasses, and I don't need another eye test for 2 years, apparently.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm glad
your time will come.
Oh no, of course it will. The last time I went a year ago, and I had some thing behind my eye, a blob, and he said I was very young to have one of those, so I had to
Okay.
go and have blood tests and all the rest of it. And it's gone now.
Is it by magic?
Yeah, it's gone. So yeah, that's cool.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Yes.
I could just see you wearing, where are my glasses? I've got a pair of reading glasses. Yeah, this is the thing. I've got like about 10. Oh, there they are right in front of me. I can just see you sitting like that with your little
Yeah.
reading glasses perched at the end of your nose.
Yeah, I get those little half ones.
Yeah, these are
I
quite.
don't I look Japanese anyway, don't I? My eyes are I don't know why they look so closed all the time. They're really slanty, aren't they?
No.
Oh, well, they are. Look, when I smile, look, they're
Oh, yeah, yeah, but that's because when you're smiling, the
like one of
corner.
those mask things, those slits. Um, yeah. Well, this is all very interesting, isn't it?
I was thinking the same thing. It is interesting, like the way we lose with sensors and the way our dogs do as well. Because I was writing about it, in my new book.
Oh, have you got a new book coming out? That had escaped me, Les.
In 1st of March.
Oh, 1st of March, getting
Not long
closer
now.
to the launch date.
I know. But it is interesting, like the way we start losing our faculties and dogs start losing their faculties as well, very similar.
It's quite scary. If you had a dog with cognitive, what do you call it?
No, I haven't.
No, I
No.
did. I did a little bit with Vico when he got very old.
Mhm.
Um, he'd look at because couldn't hear you either, and he'd look at you in the park or whatever,
Uh-huh.
or he'd follow someone else, and of course you
Yeah.
couldn't call him. And it's amazing how I was in the park one day, and he was about 15, and
Uh-huh.
he was just plodding along behind me, and I went through like a little cutting, stood and waited for him for I don't know 10, 20 seconds or something, and he didn't come. So I went back to see what he was doing. Thought he was sniffing or something. He'd got right down the other side of the park. God knows how he'd achieved that. And so I had to run, clapping my hands,
Wow.
shouting, waving my arms because he was there. And no, he just turned around, looked at me, and carried on.
Oh, how funny.
Until I got really close, then his nose kicked in or whatever.
Yeah, it's like dementia. Don't know who you are. Leave me alone. I'm hitting myself.
Yeah. What are you doing waving your arms like a lunatic?
Yeah, no, I haven't. I haven't had a dog that old.
No, no, touch wood, been quite lucky.
Yeah, yeah. No, it is interesting the way we all go through the aging process, and yeah, I just find it really interesting that dogs, different breeds, different sizes, they've got different lifespan, and yet you've got horses which are huge and they live much longer, and you've got like cats which are smaller and they live much longer, and then you've got the dog
Mm.
in the middle.
Yeah, that's one of the worst things of dog ownership, isn't it? Having that short lifespan, really. 'Cause you put,
Definitely.
well, especially as we get old, talking about getting older. I mean, the years, I don't know why, but the years do go quicker, don't they? The older you get, the quicker the time goes. So you
Yeah.
have your dogs for like a short period of time, effectively.
Uh-huh.
I mean, my shepherd Zach, I had him like all the way through my 20s into my mid 30s, and that was years and years. Do you know what I mean? It felt like forever. Whereas now, time just whistles by, doesn't it?
It's gone in a blink.
It is. It is. Do you know what? It's frightening because you're not prepared. Oh, nobody prepares you for this. No one says,
You know,
you know.
everybody prepares you for this when you're a kid. They're like, make the most of your time at school.
I
Time
know, but
speeds up when they're always telling you, the old
yeah.
people who I'm now one of, are always telling you stuff like
Well, I
that. And we
know,
go,
but you're not.
yeah, yeah, whatever. You're just old.
They do tell you, but you're not still not prepared for it, are you?
I
Because you
don't
don't
believe it.
realize.
Don't believe a word of it.
No, I mean, I'm like 46.
That's ancient.
Oh, it was when I was 20, and a 46-year-old, I'd be like,
I
let alone
know.
50 and blooming 60.
I can remember at the stable thinking like, was this girl, she was 16 and she was so mature and just like so, wow, she was 16, you know?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I wouldn't want to be 16 again, though.
Wouldn't you?
No, God, no.
No, I didn't want to be 16. I might want to be mid-20s.
No, no.
You're always quite content aging, aren't you? I've struggled.
I'm okay. There's been a couple of times over the years where I've struggled with aging, but you know the alternative is you're dead.
The
So
alternative is you're dead, yeah. But I mean, no, when I got to 40, that hit me like a brick. I didn't cope with that very well at all. I couldn't believe it.
no, no.
Couldn't believe it. But hey ho. Um, so we were going to talk about how things have changed with dogs as well, weren't we, over the
We were. We
last.
were. After our last philosophical discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think more philosophical here. Is it us? Is it us that have changed as we've got older and more mature and wiser and more, I would say I'm more easygoing in some ways and less easygoing in others. And do you think that has got a bit of impact on how we're viewing dog training problems now? Or do you think I'm very good at putting these questions to you, aren't I?
You are posing these questions that can't possibly be answered. Yeah.
Welcome to my brain. This is how my head works, okay? Or do you think that the problems we're encountering now as trainers and behaviourists, do you think they have changed both in terms of type of problem and severity of problem and quantity of problem? That said both, but there was actually three questions.
I think it's a lot of things, isn't it? I think there are lots of societal changes that we've had over the last however many years. Like
Let's make it a decade. Let's say nice easy one.
okay,
Last
decade.
10 years.
I don't know if 10 years ago, if we had fur babies and pet parents, I don't think we
No,
did.
they did not exist, and neither did a guardian,
No,
which is
no.
one I do not like that term at all.
I don't know. And I don't think that's done. I think we've spoken about this before, but I don't think that's done dogs any favours at all,
No,
treating them
at
like
all.
furry little kids.
How the label you put on something defines it.
Yeah.
And if you're going around calling it a fur baby, then you're defining it as, you know, it's a dog. And I'm
Yeah,
my
it's a
dog's
dog.
owners.
Yeah.
My
And
dog's
dogs
owners.
are, well, I bought mine. I own them. Paid for them. I'm a dog
And
owner.
according to the law of the land, they're your chattels,
Yeah,
belong to you.
they are. I was going to say something then, but it's gone from my mind. Another senior moment creeping in.
I didn't want to say that.
No, sing a song or something while I try and recall it. Oh
In the
dear.
last 10 years, you said, so in the last, gone a bit warm. In the last 10 years, you said that.
Oh, got it.
Okay,
Um,
I was listening.
do you remember dogs being on sofas and sleeping upstairs and things like that? Would
Yes,
you remember that
yes.
from a
But
long time?
way back, it depends on
Well, 10 years ago they did, yeah. But I mean, do you remember that prior to that?
my first dog. When I lived at my mum, she used to sit when I was a kid, she used to come and sleep. Yeah. But
Upstairs.
she wasn't allowed on the settee unless I had a towel down for her.
Mm.
She was never allowed just to jump on the settee. Oof, no, that was not acceptable at all when I was a kid.
No, because I think I don't know if things were more expensive or whether they were just valued. You know what I mean? I suppose a long years ago, you'd have like a second-hand sofa, wouldn't you? And things like that. Whereas now people get it from DFS on 12 months interest-free credit or whatever.
Yeah.
So
I think we've turned into see it want to buy a ditch society.
yeah,
You know, there's a lot of turnover in possessions, and
yeah,
like when, I mean, I don't know how it was for you, but when we first set up house, it was really expensive, and
You had a second-hand
you know,
sofa. My
I
first
got a
sofa.
settee off my mum. You know, I remember getting my settee off my mum, um, and like you collect we used to call it a bottom drawer, where when you were growing up, you'd like buy some pans and you'd save up and you put them in the bottom drawer, and then the big items
Yeah.
you would get second hand. You wouldn't buy something new when you were first setting up.
No, I think my first sofa was 30 quid. It was probably quite expensive, but it was second-hand, horrible blue sofa. But I wouldn't have had a dog on it or a cat.
No, God, no. I mean,
But
my bed settee is went around the world with me. I loved it. I had it for like 30 years before I got rid of it a couple of years ago. But then it went to charity.
yeah,
It was like it went to charity. I was
yeah.
heartbroken to get rid of it.
I think people have changed a lot. I think because I mean, most people have their dog on the sofa, don't they?
Yeah,
Like that just jumps on the sofa and sits
yeah.
with you and things.
And it can come and go as it pleases, whereas that was never an option.
No, well,
We
open plan homes. I mean, now when you look at, I mean, kitchens years ago, that was for cooking, wasn't it? A kitchen.
and the dog.
Yeah, you didn't socialise or entertain. I mean, if people came around, you'd probably go into the best room that you only ever used at Christmas, or you know, a lounge or whatever. You
The
wouldn't stand in
insurance.
the kitchen.
Yeah.
But now everybody is sitting in the kitchen, don't you? Everybody's got a kitchen where you with your bar stools and your island, and
Yeah.
that's kind of the heart of the home now. And so I think all of that's changed how we live with dogs, hasn't it?
Well, I think how we live, because how we live is very different.
Yeah,
Then how we live with the dogs is different as well.
yeah,
So when
and
I was growing up, you know, we weren't allowed to leave the doors open in the house because it would be too cold. You know, you'd go into one room and you'd close the door to keep the heat in,
yeah,
and then you go in the next room and you close it. And so you were always shutting doors around the house. And it's like, were you born in a barn? You can shut the door.
yeah,
And so the dogs had to ask permission to go between rooms,
yeah.
whereas now they don't.
No, well, a lot of homes I visit, they're completely open plan. They haven't got a door down. They've got their front door and their back door, and everything in the middle is just one
Wide
big
open.
space. Yeah, which is, the dog. So the dog just has got no goes upstairs because it can.
Mhm,
Just does what it wants to do really around the house.
mhm.
So I
And do you
suppose,
think that's creating different problems to what we used to see? Probably 10 years isn't enough, probably 20 years. So 20 years ago, the problems were different than what we're seeing now.
that's difficult to say, isn't it? I think it has changed. I mean, separation anxiety has been around for obviously a long time, hasn't it?
Uh-huh.
But you probably see more now, and it's certainly harder to kind of work with when you've just got an open plan space
Yeah.
because you can't
You
induce
can't put
separation because
distance between them, can you?
no, there is nowhere to go. So that makes it all very difficult.
Mhm.
Lockdown obviously played a massive part in all sorts of behavioural issues, didn't it?
Huge part, huge part. Do you,
It
because
didn't need to,
we
but
both
it
work
did.
with aggressive dogs, and we're both pretty much specialised in aggression. So do you think, and this is just what I've seen from what I'm doing now, because I don't do consults as such,
Mhm.
but what I found like a couple of years ago, probably just before lockdown, was there's more cases of aggression, but it's more low level rather than high level. So there just seems to be a constant stream of low level aggression rather than, and I'm like low level aggression, I'm talking, um, I did probably put resource guarding in that as well. Not like out and out attacks, but like general resource guarding, back off, you can't have it, lunging on lead, growling, barking, that kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? Rather
Yeah,
than out and out repeated bites, repeated attacks.
yeah. I think there's more what I might put under the heading of sort of relationship issues between dog and owner, which
Yeah.
includes that kind of resource guarding and And some of those things, I mean, you've told me before, you've given me examples of, typically it's Labradors that have been, you trained solely using food, and kind of they're biting their owners and trying to get food and upping the level of aggression, whereas that could have been diffused properly when the dog was younger. And I think along some years ago, people would probably seek help a little bit sooner, because they wouldn't have the availability. They wouldn't go online, wouldn't go on Google, because they didn't have Google. So they'd go in the yellow pages and find a dog trainer and say, my dog's biting me, can you help? And they'd follow your advice. Whereas now they've done their research, they've followed advice, they've made it worse, they've seen 2 or 3 other people. And so it's a kind of a worse problem.
Yeah.
Because it's not been addressed.
And then with social media as well, you know, you'll see somebody put the same problem in 3 or 4 groups.
Yeah.
And they'll get through, you know, each group will have a different solution for them.
Yeah.
And then they go the solution that they think is either going to be easiest to implement, or that's not going to, you know, piss the dog off the most, or and so they're not going with the right solution, or they're going with the one that gets the most likes.
Yeah.
And that's making it a lot worse, isn't it?
There's a lot of rubbish around, isn't there? I see people post in various Facebook, you know, I've got a dog doing this, what do you suggest? And people put some people say, oh, go and see a balanced trainer. And then other people comment underneath that, oh my God, don't do that. That's dreadful. Go and do this, try that. And you just don't ask for help, do you? I see it with, they're asking veterinary questions on.
Oh, I know.
Fancy asking Sharon off Facebook what she thinks is a rash on your dog. Go to the vet.
Go to the vet. Absolutely. And the one that winds me up at the minute is, don't go and see a behaviourist. Go and see a dog trainer down the road. They'll be able to sort out the dog biting your kid. And it's like, go and see it. And a lot of it's, you know, but dog behaviourists are costing you far too much. Don't go and see a behaviourist. They're too expensive. Just go to Jack down the road. He's the dog trainer. He can sort your dog out.
Yeah.
And you think, they're charging money because they are hopefully they're well trained. They're professional, and when they're working with your dog, they're actually putting themselves at risk.
Yeah. It's a big responsibility trying to help these people and these animals.
It is. So what kind of problems are you seeing more of now, would you say?
I think it's mostly...
I know you said relationship, but like what kind?
Mostly I see, I said to you, I think last time we spoke, that I remember a long time ago, you used to see like a real kind of array of behavioural issues. So things like not eating, you know, dogs not eating or drinking excessively, toilet training issues, peeing on the sofa, separation issues, all of those things, quite an array of, but now mostly it's aggressive behaviour towards people or dogs, really. That's kind of...
And towards the owner.
Yeah, towards the owners, which is, I think we see that more now than we did. We've always seen, you know, resource guarding and hierarchical issues between owners and dogs. But we certainly see more of it now, maybe because breeds have changed, maybe because of the way we live with dogs, maybe because of everything combined, really. Made a perfect storm.
Because I think people are a lot more tolerant. My students always go, why did they let it get so far? It's like, because it's incremental. You know, it's it very slowly builds up, and we're really busy now. So I think where people are busier now than ever, they might not be, but they're perceived to be. Do you know what I mean? I think people are overwhelmed more now since lockdown with just what they're doing. And so I think a lot of the time people go, well, it's not really an issue. I'm not going to deal with it, not realising if they don't deal with it, then it's going to very quickly turn into an issue. Yeah. And I think there's a lot of that going on as well.
I think things do creep up incrementally, don't they? I do remember a long time ago, I was talking to a woman with a Jack Russell that was aggressive to people. And I said, what about visitors and stuff? And then she sort of burst into tears because she'd only just realised that she doesn't have visitors because she can't cope with the dog. And she just literally in that moment, she's like, oh my God, I've changed my whole life for this dog.
Yeah.
But she didn't know that until she was asked the question. Do you know what I mean?
It happens so slowly. And so I mean we've definitely seen separation anxiety on the rise, partly because of like lockdown and the way we live now in houses. We've seen a rise in aggression. It's like I mean, we'll never get to the cause because there's so many different parameters, really, isn't there?
I think there's lots of factors, isn't there? It's not one thing. But equally, I mean, people with their children, those relationships have changed, haven't they?
Oh, massively.
How people live with their children and what they expect and what they're allowed to do and how they're allowed to speak and, you know, be with other people. I mean, we were kids. It was like, I mean, you definitely weren't an adult and you didn't think you were, and you put back in your box. Do you know what I mean? But in no uncertain terms, you're not, you know, you're a child. You don't know anything about anything.
Yeah, I'm the adult. I'll make the decision.
Yeah.
And I can remember I saw this, I don't know if you remember or not, this little Newfoundland puppy. No, it wasn't. It was God, not a Swiss Mountain Dog, Bernese Mountain Dog. And
is that the one at the barrier across the middle of the room?
oh no, that was a different one.
Okay.
No, that was Newfoundland.
Okay.
Where it was leaning over and biting as it went past. No, that was the Newfoundland. No, this one was a little Bernese Mountain Dog. It was a little pup. It was really, really aggressive for 10 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And its eyes were pointing in different directions.
Right.
And I said, let's have a look at this pedigree. And I said, look, this dog's really, really inbred. And I said to them, I think you need to take this back to the breeder because this is not the right dog for your family.
Yeah.
And I said, why did you go for a Bernese Mountain Dog, you know? And she says, oh, and she went out of the room and came in with this toy Bernese Mountain Dog, which was her 3-year-old daughter's toy. And her daughter was adamant she wanted a real one. So they got this puppy.
Of course they did. I mean, how ridiculous.
They did.
See, it annoys me when I go to see clients and they bring their kids in. They're like, what do you think about it? I think sod what they think about it. You know what I mean? Why are we involving the kids? They're going to be, you know, off taking drugs and, you know, doing other stuff soon. They're not interested in a family discussion about the dog. It's ridiculous.
I know.
Maybe it's not. I don't know. People probably like, I don't know. It annoys me though.
Yeah, it annoys me when parents, when you say to them, don't leave your kid alone in the room with the dog. Well, my dog won't hurt my child. Yeah, right.
Yeah, no.
Do you think there's more incidents with dogs and children, like in relation to aggression and stuff, or is that because to me that seems to have simmered down a bit? It seems to be more the adults are getting bit rather than the children.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know is the answer to that, but I do find it strange that people don't realise the dangers with dog and child interactions, how they allow, because I think, I mean, as I've said before, I'm probably a little bit overkill on safety, but people just seem to take lots of silly risks.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, you know, oh, the dog loves the kid. And I think, well, I won't love the kid if it's sitting on a rawhide shoe when the kid kisses it on the head, will it?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. But people treat the kids like, you know, the dogs and the kids the same, don't they? They're like brother and sister.
And they often say, you know, get your brother, and then pads the dog.
Yeah, it's just people, isn't it?
People are people. People are people, as the song goes. What about breeding? Do you think breeding's had an impact on the different issues we're seeing now compared with what we saw 10, 20 years ago?
You are full of, you're the question master, aren't you?
I'm just full of questions today. I know.
Full of questions you're not getting any answers to. Yeah, breeding's changed big time because of money, isn't it? Money.
Money.
You've done, professional breeders of pedigree dogs years ago, they were passionate about improving the breed. either aesthetically or behaviourally or whatever. And now it's just stick a poodle with a spaniel and let's sell that for a couple of grand. Perfect.
I saw on Jemima Harrison, do you know who did Pedigree Dogs Expo? She's got a Facebook page called Crufts.
Yeah.
And she put a link up, I don't know where the breeder is, to the breeding hairless chihuahuas, hairless miniature chihuahuas. Okay.
Oh, it's gross.
And I shared it on Train for Life. I mean, they've brought it down now, so I've deleted the post, but I shared it on Train for Life. And I think my comment was something like, what on earth are we doing to dogs? What possible benefit could this be to a dog to remove its fur? And somebody commented and said, well, what does it matter to you? It's obviously not hurting the dog. Hang on a minute. Is that kind of the mentality that's on Facebook now? Is that that kind of attitude causing a lot of the behaviour issues, you know?
It's horrible. I mean, you see those kind of those bulldog types that are really kind of deformed. They're like frogs, aren't they?
Little dwarf,
Just
what's it,
awful.
Optimum XL bully. It's got like little dwarf legs. It's the bred dwarfism into the XL bully, haven't they?
They're like
So
disabled, aren't
shortened
they?
legs. Yeah,
Disabled dogs.
horrific.
I don't get it. And like these Merle French bulldogs and all the, you know,
Silver Labradors.
yeah, they're just not healthy. I mean, those silver lab, no, they're just not healthy. And it's just people. It's money, isn't it? Really?
I think people like. I think as a species, I mean, we do tinker. We're tinkerers, aren't we? That's why we've progressed so much and we've evolved so much, because we tinker. We go, oh, how does this look? Let's take it apart and put it back together and let's see if we can improve it. And I think that's humans as a species. But I think we also like the bizarre and the unusual. Look at what? Oh God, who's the? He did Jack and the Giant Peach. Jim's the Giant Peach, and he did you know, the Nightmare Before Christmas, and he did, who's that director? You know.
Oh, I don't know.
You know who I'm on about? So it's like, you know, you look at Johnny Depp in the Pirates of the Caribbean, he's a bit outlandish, a bit bizarre, a bit off the wall, and I'm trying to think of her name. She was in Harry Potter. She's an amazing actress. She was in The Crown. But it's that kind of thing people like. They like the stuff that's slightly different, slightly off the wall, a bit bizarre. Do you know what I mean? And they're doing that to the dogs as well. You know.
Well, I suppose also they can charge more for that, can't they? They can
They
charge
can
more
charge
for
more because it's a bit unusual.
Yeah. And I think, yeah, there are certain people that do like that, isn't there? It's that sort of chavvy kind of thing, isn't it? That people have these dogs often.
I think so. I think
Yeah.
so.
I saw a program. I can't remember what it was. It was about, there was a bloke on there breeding. I think it was, I don't know, pocket bullies or something. I don't know. I can't remember what breed. Some kind of, but that's just not ethical. And the money that they're charging for these dogs, it's like it was thousands of pounds. But no, I think there should be legislation, shouldn't there, about breeding dogs, but it'd be impossible to enforce.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to do it. You wouldn't. Tim Burton.
Google's your friend.
Stuff is very, eh?
Google's your friend.
I did. I looked him up. I looked him up when he was talking. Yeah, I don't know what it is about. It's like the you know, peacocking almost, isn't it? You know, they're almost peacocking some of the dogs. It's like, look at this dog. It's a bit unusual. It's a bit different. It's a bit out there. Let me just create a deformed dog and Emperor's new clothes.
Yeah, it's a mess because people get these dogs and then the next minute they're in the rescue. Get quite a lot of those bizarre dogs in the rescue because people buy them because they, I don't know, matches their new
different
sofa or whatever, and think, well, actually, it's still a dog. It still poos and pees, so we give that a miss. But I was had a thing yesterday. The British Rottweiler Association got a message from a man with a female Rottweiler
Mhm.
that asked for stud dogs in his area. So I went back on the page and just said, you shouldn't be looking for stud dogs in your area. You should be looking nationally and internationally for the dog that complements your bitch, assuming she's had all the relevant health tests.
Yeah.
So he told me where to go. But you should,
Did he?
just, yeah, he did. Rude. But I was equally rude. No, but you shouldn't be breeding a dog just for the sake of breeding a dog. Especially if they're not health tested. It wasn't a very nice example of the breed either. So why are you doing that?
Yeah, it's all over Facebook. It's like, I'm gonna breed my dog. Can anyone recommend a stud? Have you had the health tests? Oh, am I supposed to get health tests done?
I know. They're just, no, it's just a mess. People are breeding all sorts of things, aren't they? Just putting, I mean, the amount of crossbreeds and stuff. It's not just cockapoos now. They're sticking all sorts of dogs together. I mean, like Siberian Huskies and Pomeranians. What?
Oh my God.
It's bizarre, isn't it?
Mhm.
You've got how many hundreds of pedigree dog breeds. You don't really need to be doing that, do you?
No, but again, it's look at me, look what I've created. I'm tinkering, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and they're certainly not trying to improve the breed
No.
or create a breed or any of that,
No, but they're not bred for any kind of function, are they? Not like, we've created this breed because it's easy to live with and it doesn't molt too much and it doesn't bark too much. It's not. It's just we've created this because we thought that'd be nice to stick them together.
And I mean, you look at some of the really nice breeds that came about because of tinkering, like the Golden Retriever was the classic designer dog.
Mm-hmm.
He put together a couple of different breeds to come up with a better working dog.
Well, I suppose all pedigree dog breeds haven't they? All pedigree dog breeds have come from.
They've all come from that, but what they're doing now, it's not improving the health of the dog.
No.
Not improving the ownership. It's not making it easier to have a good, like, primate canine relationship at home. It's just, and then they're breeding in all of these health problems, so that's expensive, and then people don't want to have expensive dogs because vet bills are so high, and then they end up in rescue, and then you have the whole Dogs Trust trying to get people empty their pockets with the emotional campaigns on the telly, and then and on it goes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And then you have people like us trying to sort the problems out at the bottom.
Well, I feel sorry for all the people that work in the rescues, not the Dogs Trust and that, but the smaller rescues that are just overwhelmed with dogs, are flooded. Yeah. I mean, that is just a thankless task. I mean, they're just swamped.
Yeah, they are.
Horrible. And you've still got people breeding and, breeding these dogs and churning them out. And I just think, I mean, the amount of puppies that I see advertised on social media, I just think, where are the homes for all these dogs? How can there be homes for all these dogs that are being bred?
I know.
I don't get it. There's only a certain amount of homes, isn't there? You can't keep. I mean, well, I don't get it.
That was very depressing.
What
question did I ask that took us to that? Remind me never to ask that question again.
Oh God, I don't know. I'm not even sure on topic, are we? I'm not sure.
No, we're not. We've got like
what we were supposed to cover.
Okay, so let's just pull it back. What give me one of your most memorable behavior cases.
Oh, maybe cough.
Chicken.
Oh God, there's loads.
We will do. How about if we do one at some point on the consults that made our hair curl?
Yes, that would be good. I had one that's interesting that was from a long time ago. I had this woman with a little terrier mix came in for toilet training, And I was sitting there, I was talking to her for probably about an hour going through this toilet training thing, thinking, it's weird. And then after that time, she said something about drinking water.
Mhm.
And I said, what do you mean? She drinks excessive amount. She said, yes. And this dog was drinking gallons and gallons and gallons of water. If it was by the river, it wouldn't stop drinking until they pulled it away. And it was just drinking water endlessly. And obviously, it's peeing all around the house, isn't it? What goes in must
In
come
it,
out.
in it.
In it. But it was just fascinating that she didn't mention this water consumption for ages. And it just didn't really add up until she said it. And I was like, well, obviously your dog's going to, maybe we need to address the water consumption and see what's going on there. Not like start with the toilet training, because you're not going to get anywhere, are you, with that? But that was, yeah, interesting one. And another one, just briefly, had a woman came with a Labrador that wasn't eating.
I bet that had you scratching your head.
Yeah, no, she phoned. She was really worried. The dog will not eat. I've tried all sorts of food. I've tried wet food, dry food, cooked chicken. The dog won't eat. So she came to us, and I've never seen such a fat Labrador. And I was like, "Is this the dog that won't eat?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "I wouldn't really worry about it, love." It was huge. It was obviously eating something. It was huge.
Come on, then give us the solution. What was it?
Nothing. It was eating. She was just, I don't know what she was
Wanting
on.
it to eat more.
Well, she said it wasn't eating. I mean, clearly it was. It would eat anything. Just weird. I don't know whether that's some kind of, I don't know. What do you call it? Munchausen's by proxy or something?
Yeah, Munchausen by proxy.
Yeah, some weird thing going on there. What about you? What memorable cases have you got?
Oh God. I was thinking of one and it disappeared. I was going to tell you quite a funny one,
Oh,
and it's gone. One that I had in lockdown, which was quite interesting, was this guy phoned me up and he said, "Can you help me? My little, it was a little, it was a little cockapoo, um, really, really resource guarding, like massively resource guarding at 11 weeks,
yeah.
um, being really aggressive towards them. And of course, we were in lockdown, so everything had to be done. So I was chatting to him on the phone, trying to get some information off him before I went on Zoom with them. And we went through loads and loads of stuff. Loads of stuff. And he's like, yeah, he's been bit a few times. And I just said, so are you feeding it? Because he had an existing dog. And I says, are you feeding it away from the other dog? And he says, oh no, I'm feeding it at the same time. And this little light bulb went off. And I says, the same time, exactly, the same time as day as well. And he says, yes. So you're feeding it once a day? And he says, yes. Says, your puppy should be on 4 meals a day. The poor little thing was starving.
Oh my God.
I know.
Oh, that's a nightmare, isn't it?
It was awful. And he did phone me back like a few months later and said it was all fine.
Oh God.
I did say to him, look, your puppy should be in. And he's like, oh, I forgot. It's been, 10 years since I had a puppy. My dog gets fed once a day. I was just feeding it sometimes my dog. And
Oh my God.
poor little thing starving.
Oh God. I had a similar one actually with a little Maltese where I said to the owner, I said, "Oh, how much exercise does the dog have each day?" And it's about a 4-year-old Maltese. He said, "Oh, 5 minutes." I said, "What, 5 minutes a day?" She said, "Yeah." She said, "That's what the breeder said it should have." I was like, "Yeah, when it's 8 weeks old, 4 years old, 5 minutes."
Oh, it's the other way around with a lot of gun dogs that I saw that cockers, it's like I can't tell my cocker out how long he walked in 2 hours off lead.
Yeah,
And it's like, no, don't do that. Don't
no.
do that. You'll end up
No,
with a super fit dog that just
I've got a
invades.
film of a woman with a boxer puppy, and she was walking that for 2 hours a day up and down these great big hills. I mean, I
Poor
don't know
little
what I'm
thing.
thinking of.
Poor little thing.
Yeah. Still, at least she was feeding it.
Oh, you could almost hear him. He was like, you could hear the shock in his voice, and it was like, oh God, what have I done? And it
Oh
was
my
awful.
goodness.
It was quite sad actually, because he was really shocked at himself.
Yeah. God.
It's asking the right questions, isn't it?
A lot of it is like a detective story, isn't it? Because a lot of it doesn't add up, does it, when you're talking to people? So you have to keep questioning and probing until you get to the answer, really, of what's going on.
Yeah. I will tell you a funny one. I mean, it's not funny. It's quite sad, really, but it's also very funny. Went to see this little schnauzer. When she phoned up, it's like kind of sitting with your phone away from your ear like this because the dog was just barking all the time in the background.
Hmm.
And it was quite a famous behaviourist who'd been out. The guy who was exposed as not being a behaviourist. You know how I'm about, don't you?
Hmm.
He went out to see the dog and made it much, much worse. But anyway, I went in and I sorted the barking out pretty much straight away. And then her son dropped something and he bent down, picked up the dog, attacked him.
Oh, I remember you saying, yeah,
Remember this one?
yeah.
Like, hang on a minute, your kids just attacked your dog. Oh, he does it all the time. Hang on a minute, your dog is like really, really attacking your child. I mean, the child was older. He's really attacking your child. Yeah, but he does it all the time. How often are we talking here? Oh, every time he drops something. If he walks out the room, he'll attack him. If he drops something, he'll attack him. If he gets up too quickly, he'll attack him. And it's like, well, why haven't you put this on your phone? Why haven't you told me about this? Oh, we're used to it now. But the barking was driving me mad.
No,
It's like, oh my God, let's have
I
another
know,
coffee and sort this biting out, you know?
I know. It's people, isn't it? It's people.
People are funny, aren't they?
Yeah, it's their priorities, isn't it? It's what they prioritize. It's not no sense involved in it, is there? It's just what
No,
they.
she couldn't watch the telly because the dog was barking too much.
Yeah, don't worry about your son.
And he was great. I mean, he was like, I mean, his legs were very badly bruised off the dog, you know. But it's like it's just this is what happens. I move, the dog bites me.
God, yeah.
Wow.
Well,
Okay.
again, isn't it? Well, people put up with all sorts, don't they? People put up with ever such a lot.
Yeah, there's stuff that people can put up with, and there's stuff that people can't put up with, and it's not always like that. It's not always what we expect, is it?
No, but one of the very first kind of cases I dealt with years ago was a bloke. He had a Italian Spinoni puppy
Mhm,
that was sick in the car,
mhm.
and he said, "If you can't sort it out, I'm going to have it put to sleep. I can't cope with this." And that,
Wow.
a little tiny pup. And yeah, I know it blew my mind at the time. I was like, "You've just paid, 800 quid or whatever for a puppy, and you think you're going to put it to sleep because it's sick in your car?" I mean, yeah, he said, "I can't cope with this."
Wow.
Yeah, and that was the start of all these people that you meet that blow your mind.
My first behaviour consult when I came back to England, went out to see a guy who'd broken his arm and
Mhm.
he wanted to get the dog to walk on a loose lead. I'm trying to think what breed it was now. It's a big, big dog. Oh, it was a Chesapeake Bay Retriever.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, Chesapeake Bay Retriever. And so the thing pulled and I did double flick and turned. And as I turned away from the dog, it jumped up and I had a ponytail. It jumped and it tried grabbing the back of my head.
That
And
sounds like a
literally,
Chesapeake. Yeah.
yeah, I know. I literally had this dog holding on to this dog on the slip lead, trying to get it off my back. And look, I mean, thankfully I had it on a slip and I could pull it off me. But yeah, I went out to do a classic loose lead walking training. This blooming Chesapeake Bay was ready to bite the back of my head.
Yeah.
Really, really powerful dog.
They are. They are. They're not your average gun dog, are they?
No, they're not. No,
No.
they're not. Very hard-headed.
Yeah. No, they are very guardy as well, aren't they? They're
Mm.
very strong.
And they keep coming back. They keep coming back. And that was in the days before we met and you introduced me to the metal case.
Lucky we
Yeah,
met then.
I know. Before I went in with a metal case in my hand and I just used to go in a notebook.
Oh, did you? Mind you, not long ago, I had a Weimaraner. It was muzzled in a badly fitting
Oh, one of
muzzle.
those little Mickey muzzles.
I went out and met them in the street. I had my metal case, and it came over the top and bit my hand.
That's not funny.
Didn't want the metal case.
It went straight over the top of the case.
Yeah.
You weren't quick enough then.
Came to bite my. Well, I wasn't quick enough. I wasn't really expecting it. Well, I thought it's got a muzzle on. That's all right, but it wasn't. It was not correct.
They can really get hold of you from the front of those things, can't they?
Yeah, it was junk. But no, I've had some, just briefly, I've had some funny, well, not funny, this is dangerous really, but some funny cases with muzzles when you say to people, is the dog, have you got a muzzle? Yes, I have. I went to see this German Shepherd in Hampstead and had to, she said it was, it'd bitten visitors and stuff, so she was going to muzzle it when I arrived. She opened the door, the dog comes out. I mean, you've never seen such a pathetic thing in your life. I mean, it's virtually an elastic band, this great big baggy strap. I was like, is that the muzzle you use then? I mean, it was pointless. It was just ridiculous. But yeah,
it's the one where you turn up and you go, have you muzzle trained your dog? Yeah. And you turn up and they go, have you muzzled your dog? Oh no, here. And the dog comes running in and they give you the muzzle and it's like, okay, well, I actually wanted that on the dog before I arrived. Thanks very much.
I know, you never can tell. I had that with the Labrador not long ago, actually. I just sent them a muzzle conditioning guide. Get a basket muzzle, condition it, blah, blah, blah. I'll come and see you when you've done that. No, I walked in, dog comes running out. I said, oh, did you do your muzzle training? Yeah. Oh. Would have been nice.
In the kitchen drawer.
Yeah, would have been nice to put it on the dog, wouldn't it, when I came in? But there we are.
It would. How funny.
Yeah. Oh dear, that's why I drink.
Lots of coffee.
Oh God, it's a nightmare. Yeah. Oh dear me.
But it's good. It's good fun.
Good fun. We have some lovely, lovely people that we meet, don't we? As well as some occasional disasters.
Oh, some lovely people. So do you want to do some hair curling ones next time?
Hair curling, yes, I'll have a think about it.
And nice ones as well, unusual ones.
Yeah, there's some funny. Yeah, I mean,
unusual.
obviously, when you're working with people and going into their homes and stuff, you have some funny experiences, don't you?
Yes.
I did a whole behaviour consult once, sitting on a pavement in Chiswick, but I'll tell you about that next time.
Okay, I look forward to that. Write it down so you don't forget. I'm going to write it down so you don't forget. Because otherwise we'll be talking about food and
yeah, we'll be going. Yeah.
Okay, so pavement in Chiswick, huh?
Yeah.
Chiswick. Awesome. I look forward to that one then. Brilliant. So on that note, have a really good fortnight.
Yep. And you.
I will.
And I'll catch you in a couple of weeks.
You will. And I'll have a think as well about some unusual and funny ones.
Yeah, I do. I look forward to that.
Yeah. You have a good one. You take it steady.
Take care.
Okay, bye-bye. Bye.
Thanks for listening. It's not just gun dogs and not just guard dogs, but all things canine, as we hope you have discovered. Please like, share and subscribe and help us spread a bit of common sense back into dog ownership. And a review wouldn't go amiss either. Catch up with Lez and Ross again in about 14 days for more canine conversations. Until next time, stay well and enjoy your dogs. Any dog-related questions or topics, just drop an email to talk@cfba.uk or message us via facebook.com/Gundogs and Guard Dogs podcast.